Hey, Tribute Band Central, welcome to the show. Have another installment of my interview series. I am here with Jody Smith. He is with ATL Crew and ATL Ozzy. Jody, thanks for joining the channel tonight. How you doing?
Doing good, man. Thanks for having me, Harlan. It's actually it started out as ATL Crew, and I can give you the backstory on that. And then we've been calling it OZZY-CRÜE when we do the sets one and two, generally speaking, or at least thus far, Ozzy then Crew. So OZZY-CRÜE, but it's essentially started out as ATL Crew.
Cool, cool. All right. Well, let's just jump right into that. How long have you been doing this? What's the history of the band? Who are some of your bandmates? Phil, let's learn it all.
Absolutely. So it started out. I think it's funny. I moved to New York many years ago, and I was in a couple of what we generally referred to as Craigslist bands. And that, if it weren't for both the internet and ultimately Craigslist, those bands might not have existed. Considering that people running in different circles, living in obviously different areas, different scenes. It was kind of a strange way to connect with people that you otherwise might not. And then, in between that, I also met my wife on a dating apps, and I would have never met her either. So I suppose I've had some luck with this whole internet miscellaneous character situation that ensues. But
Absolutely.
with ATL Crew, Brett Richardson, he is the guitarist. He and I started out. I saw he put an ad out looking for some players to do an Aussie thing potentially. Apparently, he had been for like a year just studying all of this Aussie stuff, delving heavily into Randy Rhoads and Jakey Lee. And so those first, four records really. And I thought, I know this stuff like the back of my hand because in '83, I believe it was, when Bark of the Moon came out, I was a massive fan of Ozzy. It was like, seemed so wild and chaotic and scary. And it was like my foray into metal basically at that point. I was
Yeah.
born in '76. So I was still pretty young. And that same year in '83, Motley Crue Shot at the Devil came out. So those were the two records that I got around the same time, literal vinyl. And I listened to them obsessively. And, it's kind of funny because, again, I mentioned, that Bark at the Moon seemed kind of scary at the time. And then, of course, I get Motley Crue Shot at the Devil. And if you look at like the inlay of that record, it looks like a couple of dudes in drag, like with fire behind them. It was like the least thing from being scary. But at the time, it seemed kind of dangerous, and to my, what, a 6, 7 year old mind or whatever. But it's funny that I was obsessed again with both of those records at a young age. And flash forward to moving to Georgia. I was in New York for 15 years, then went to Salt Lake City for a year and a half, and then ended up in Georgia 3 years ago. And within a few months, I was looking at Craigslist, just looking to try to connect with some people. And I saw Brett Richardson, his ad for the Ozzy thing. So we jammed. We both loved all the Ozzy stuff. We put feelers out. We couldn't find anybody. And he, feeling, I think, like maybe it would never happen, said, well, you know what? I also happen to know a bunch of Motley Crue stuff. I said, well, that's funny because obsessively listened to that other record that I was just telling you about, Shout at the Devil in '83, along with Bark of the Moon. So I tell you what, you put the ad out. I'm not going to do it. This shit kind of drives me crazy. You put the ad out. You're not going to find anybody. Then sure enough, he finds a guy, and Kent Hiltz, who is the vocalist that started out with ATL Crew, also does the Ozzy thing in OZZY-CRÜE. And Kent was interesting because he had been in Hollywood Crew, so he had already been in a Motley Crue tribute band.
Okay.
He also did like a Judas Priest one. He did a Marilyn Manson one. He was in a cool original band out of Indiana where he's originally from called Wrecked. And he just had an interesting sort of back history, and he was super familiar with the Motley Crue stuff. So the first jam that we did, he actually just showed up, played bass because we hadn't found a bass player yet. And then we were like, well, he could definitely sing it. So then found a bass player for the Motley Crue stuff, and we were like, all right, well, we'll just do this ATL Crew thing, and we'll put the Ozzy stuff on the back burner. And the whole time, I was definitely in Brett's ear about, can we not split the set and still do some of the Ozzy stuff because we love playing it and we know it, and it's like it's a lot of fun to play. And so we started gigging out with ATL CRÜE, just doing the Motley Crue sets, playing everywhere from like Gainesville, Georgia to maybe Athens. Played a few spots in Athens and some other spots, and just kind of doing the Motley Crue thing. And then we kind of broke it to Kent again, like, hey, would you be down for doing Ozzy? Because Brett and I had reached out, and we actually found a bass player,
Hmm.
and this guy Michael Scott, and he's got an amazing story. If you ever want to talk to somebody, he's been playing in bands forever. He saw the
That's
original
great.
lineup of Black Sabbath 7 times with Ozzy.
Wow.
Like
Incredible.
you'll hardly find anybody who saw Black Sabbath, the original lineup back in the day, much less 7 times. So shout out to
Wow.
that guy. I
Yeah.
still can't believe it. So we were like, well, damn, dude, like as long as he can play, and he showed up, and we just played all the Ozzy stuff. And then we were like, okay, now we have a bass player. So Kent, would you want to sing the Ozzy stuff? We'll split it. We'll do a set of Ozzy. We'll do a set of Motley Crue. The bass player that we found for the Motley Crue thing, this guy, Stephen M. Finger, another Georgia guy. Then it was like, okay, well, it's a little bizarre. Yes, we have two bass players for the opposite sets, but three of us are double dipping. Meanwhile, the bass players get it easy. They're just playing one set, those lazy bastards. But it's been cool, man. It's been fun playing the Ozzy stuff. The Ozzy stuff is definitely a little more technical, like definitely more guitar minded. A lot of leads, especially
Hmm.
if you're doing Randy Rhoads, Jakey Lee, and Zach Wild material, which we are. So it's a lot of solos to learn. And then for the Motley Crue set, we kind of throw some makeup on, throw some wigs, look a little more ridiculous, and play all those ridiculous songs, which are like their own thing, kind of big dumb party music, as I call it. But it's a lot of fun, and people always dig it, and it's kind of a fun way to sort of kind of ride out the party at the end of the night as everyone's getting wasted.
Well, I tell you, I was very impressed. I listened to the couple of the videos that you had sent, and yeah, the sound is really good. And you're right, you dressed the part for the Motley Crue.
Yeah, you gotta.
And yeah, I will for my audience, I will definitely put links to that in the comments so that you can check it out. And so you're a drummer. Are you, is that pretty much your full musical background? Do you do any vocals or any other instruments?
I do a little bit of vocals. It's mostly been drums. I got my first kit in 1991, which was a hell of a year to do that, given like grunge break. And I just gotten my license in Louisiana. I was 15 and like driving and listening to all the killer grunge music, and I had a drum set. And so it's been
Okay.
an obsession since then. I don't know if y'all can see here, but I've got probably like 5 full drum sets sort of set up in this downstairs area. And of course, I didn't soundproof anything because I really want to drive my children and my wife as crazy as possible.
Well, that's
Uh,
okay. That's okay.
yeah,
I do the same. I do the same.
yeah, yeah. But I also do I do like a kind of synth proggy kind of nerdy thing, like maybe Frank Zappa meets King Crimson with some like Devo or something like that, called Proficient Prototypes, and I record all that sort of. Everything's recorded,
Hmm.
performed. I do an initial mix on it. I even design the cover records for it, and that's kind of a fun thing that I've been able to do with all this setup and recording gear. And I also recorded there's an Ozzy. We did, I think, 3 Ozzy songs that I recorded, and that's got guitars, bass, drums, vocals, full mix. We did a few songs. We did "Flying High," "I Don't Know," and "Over the Mountain." I think were the three. And Kent is singing on those, and that was fun mixing those, doing all that, and then also recorded some of the Motley Crue stuff. And I can send you links. It's all on SoundCloud, so people can
Great.
check that stuff out too.
Cool. Cool. Well, we will put that in the comments. Any original music? Do you write any of your own stuff? Do you have some songs out there on the various streaming sites? So we'd be happy to plug those for you.
Absolutely. So the all the Proficient Prototype stuff, I just put out one May 15th, which is super cool. I generally put out like 3 song EPs.
Okay.
It's just a little easier to manage and finance.
Understood.
And I mean, I take care of everything, but I do pay somebody to mix it in the end. I need to get it out of my hands. It's hard to be objective about it at that point. I'm so immersed in it. But Kent Hiltz, the vocalist, is an incredible guitar player, incredible sense of tone. He has this like kind of solo metal thing he does as well called Jeebus Cripes. And that is a super cool one as well. He too is on all the streaming platforms. I can give you the links to all of his stuff.
Great.
And Steven, the bass player of ATL Crew, he was in some like Atlanta bands back in the day. I think Triangle Fire, Motor 76, and Undone was one of them, or three of them rather. And those are some of the ones that he's done. Brett also has moved around a good bit. He's originally from Georgia, but he was in Austin and then San Francisco and then back to Georgia. So he's played in some original bands. And Michael Scott, who does the OZZY-CRÜE bass playing, who saw Sabbath 7 times, he's got an interesting story. He's not playing any original music now, but he is in this. I hope I phrase it correctly, but he performs in like a praise and worship team that performs at like prisons and recovery facilities and homeless
Wow.
shelters. So
Wow,
he's
that's
out
great.
there doing God's work. God bless him, man. It's
Wow,
amazing. Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah,
Absolutely. That's great. That is
yeah,
great.
yeah. So we're kind of all over the place, both geographically and musically in all of our endeavors. But we can certainly come together and play the Ozzy and the ATL Crew stuff at any moment. So it's cool.
Excellent, excellent. Well, this is going to be a tough question for you, but I'm going to put you on the spot. So,
Sure.
what's your favorite song or songs to play? What do you think really get you the best feedback from the crowd, or what gives you the most enjoyment from being up on stage?
Yeah, I think if I split the sets in two, we start with Ozzy. We generally start off with somewhere between the three songs that I mentioned earlier that we recorded with I Don't Know, Over the Mountain, and Flying High Again. And those songs, every time we play them, and we always start with them, always have a really great response. They're high energy, especially Over the Mountain and I Don't Know. I Don't Know's got a great drum fill that starts off with it. That's always fun. And we always end the Ozzy set, flash forward into the Zach Wild years with No More Tears. And
Okay.
people always love to hear that as well. And mind you, I don't know if you saw any of this Back to the Beginning original lineup of Black Sabbath and all the bands that showed up to honor Ozzy on July 5th. It was a massive, massive show. And we're like, damn, I guess there are some other songs we're going to have to play because it was a massive event. I think they raised like $190 million for charity on that
Wow,
show.
that is great.
Yeah.
Incredible. I
So
did not catch that. I will have to look that up on the net.
check it out. Just look at some of the pictures. I mean, Guns N' Roses was there to, like all kinds of amazing drummers. Tool played it. So many bands, everybody. It showed up, and the sort of it's funny. Nuno Betancourt, he's the guitarist of Extreme, a guy I'm a big fan of. He played on a lot of people's sets, just filling in on Ozzy songs and everything else. And he called it, I believe, a heavy metal summer camp. And when you see the pictures, you're like, yeah, I bet, man. Like this is a super rare event where all these people converged in one place to honor, Ozzy. And it was pretty heartwarming and just kind of awe inspiring to see everybody show up to like honor him. It was a super cool concert. If anybody hadn't seen it, just check out the pictures. Then you're gonna be like, all right, I need to go watch video of them playing these songs.
Outstanding. I will look at that. I will definitely put something in the comments also.
Yeah.
Um, let's give
Oh,
you a
oh,
little opportunity to plug any of your upcoming shows. Where
absolutely.
are you going to be? And we'll put links in the comments, of course, but fill me in.
Yeah, this Saturday, July 19th, we are at, I hope I'm pronouncing this right. I think it's Sign, Sin, or Sine. I don't quite know. I know it's Cine apostrophe.
Okay.
And that is a cool place that like plays movies and has occasional music, and that's in Athens, Georgia.
Okay.
We
Great.
will be there this Saturday, and then Friday, August 1st, we are at Atmosphere Sports Bar.
Okay.
And that is kind of northeast Atlanta area. I'm spacing on the city. I'll look it up before we finish this, but I believe there's only one. It's Atmosphere Sports Bar, and I
Okay.
know we're playing there August 1st, and we're doing the Ozzy and the Motley Crue sets.
Okay. So you're going to be doing both sets then.
Oh yeah, that's what we've kind of been doing since we started it. We're like, let's just keep doing it. It's just been fun to break it up. And it's kind of cool that, we're splitting it up between doing a sort of double tribute between the two sets. It's cool. It's been fun.
It is. It is. And listening to both of the videos kind of back to back, I can certainly understand how it feeds off of each one. So
Yeah,
yeah, very
yeah.
impressed there.
And to by the way, to go back to one question you asked earlier with the songs that in the crew set that are always fun. 10 Seconds to Love is fun because we do it with a call and response where we get the crowd to say 10 seconds to love after we break down. That's always fun. And then towards the end, some of the later stuff like Wild Side and Kickstart My Heart. And,
Yep.
of course, we have to play Home Sweet Home. You just have to, because we'd just be dickheads if we didn't, apparently. But it's kind of funny, like the borderline both cheesy and ridiculous. Everybody holding up their lighters for that song for the ballad, rock and roll style. So that too it's fun, man.
That's that was when I was kind of going through looking at some of the songs that I remembered that I enjoyed. That was always one also that and really I was never a professional musician at all, but I can just imagine that getting done with the show and packing up and it's the last one and that heading home. I certainly can understand where they came out with that. And I know it had a lot of commercial success.
Yeah,
And it's kind of the one, you're right, you have to play it. Um,
we'd just be assholes. People would be pissed about it, and you know what? I mean, honestly, like there's some songs like that. I'm like, we're only playing them because we know people want to hear them. And if you pay money to go see a tribute band, there are some songs you're obligated to play whether you like it or not.
Very true. It's that and it's that way for all the different bands. I mean,
Yeah,
so yeah, I get it from the guys that are doing Billy Joel and Elton John. There's just certain songs you gotta play. And
absolutely.
yeah, so
By
well,
the
when I
way,
started on this endeavor, I decided that I'd be doing a lot of interviews, and everybody told me, well, you gotta ask everybody the same final question, and so I'm just gonna throw it out to you. I asked this to everybody, but do you attend tribute bands in your off time? And if so, who do you go listen to?
yeah, absolutely. So we're in McDonough area, Georgia. So like I always pinpoint it as being like 40 minutes south of the East Atlanta Village, basically.
Yep.
But we're like on the last rural side before the commissioners that are trying to wreck everything in this town completely overdevelop it and turn it into a sprawling fucking traffic nightmare. But
True.
where we're on like the last rural end of it, which is kind of cool. But there is a spot that's about 15 minutes sort of in the town square called Southern Roots, and they do almost I wouldn't say exclusively, but maybe 75 in there, or OZZY-CRÜE, one of them. But the what was I going to say? I go over there and I've seen, let's see, Journey, Bon Jovi, Tom Petty, a 90s country band, Bob Seger, Aerosmith, Fleetwood Mac, and I'm sure a bunch of other ones that I'm probably spacing on. But yeah, my wife and I both, it's kind of a fun pastime for us to go catch like a fun tribute band every now and again. And I mean, back in the Louisiana days, that was pre 2005. I played in a Hendrix tribute band where we played like 30 Hendrix tunes, which
Whoa.
was crazy. Two guitarists to pull that off, and then we did a Zeppelin one. I've kind of done with two different lineups, two Zeppelin ones as well. Yeah, between playing them like kind of back in the day and then going to see them presently, I enjoy going to see them. They're fun, man.
They absolutely are. And it's the reason I put the channel together. And I really, really appreciate you taking some time out to tell us about what you're doing. I'm anxious to come see the show. And anyone who does an interview with me, I definitely will come see the show and we'll put together a little video montage on the channel also.
Nice.
And we will get that going. So, Jody, it has been a pleasure to meet you.
You
And
too.
for my listeners, like, share, subscribe, and comment. If you have any questions for me, if you have any questions for Jody, put them in the comments, and we'd be happy to talk about any of the things. And he certainly is well versed. And I know you have your own podcast, so we'll put a link to that in there also.
Yeah.
And I seriously really appreciate the support of the channel and love what you're doing and can't wait to hear you play live.
Absolutely. Crash Bang Boom podcast, by the way, is the podcast. I've done over 300 episodes of interviewing drummers. So if you think I can talk a lot in this instance, just let me talk to other nerdy drummers about all of that gear bullshit. You can't even imagine how ridiculous it gets.
Oh man, you drummers, it's tough. You spend a lot of time packing and unpacking.
It's true. It's true. And by the way, Atmosphere Sports Bar in Loganville.
Loganville.
Loganville. Yeah. So
All right.
if anybody hears it, come and catch us at either in Athens or in Loganville.
Sounds great. Sounds great. All right. Well, thank you and Tribute Band Central. Take care, everybody.
Thanks, buddy.